Alrighty, well, welcome back everyone to another Security Token Prime webinar. This week we are joined by Scott and Courtney Brown behind Park Street Development Group, and really the ones behind the Tuscany National Token. Scott, Courtney, how are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, we've heard about this token, which is essentially giving people the access to a piece of Italy, essentially. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to learn about your background and how you guys kind of got into the tokenization space.
Sure, I'll start. My background is a career in finance for 10 years and then started a real estate development company in the hospitality space in 2004 and spent the last 20 years building hotels and or acquiring hotels and resorts. And so we're hospitality developers, operators, owners, and we got into the space after watching the evolution of the blockchain and the real world asset tokenization. Courtney's in the business, and she and her company started doing this, and I'll let her give her a little bit of background, and that's sort of how we learned about the blockchain and Web3 and tokenization, and that's how we got started in this space.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. So I work for a Web2 prop tech company. And about 2 years ago, the board decided to have an initiative on how to utilize Web3 technology. And we transact with single family rentals within the US. So we were tasked with how to compliantly sell a home on the blockchain. And many months of due diligence and legal iterations, we figured out how to sell a home on Ethereum mainnet via NFT. So this kind of opened my world. I have a very traditional real estate background in being licensed in different states, so residential sales or leases, whatever that may be. So this whole new world of blockchain, Web3 technology, tokens, huge learning curve for me, but I love every minute of it. And so I decided, why not bring my husband along the journey? And so here we are.
Yeah, we watched this process, and as her company was going through the process of tokenizing real estate, it was very active, and the community was very active and excited about these opportunities, while the traditional financial markets were just coming to a screeching halt. And so we had these two things that were completely opposite happening at the exact same time. And one day, when Courtney and she had just gotten back from a conference, one of the blockchain or crypto conferences, and immediately she said, "Why don't you tokenize Tuscany?" And that was last October, and immediately the light bulb went off, and we've been on this journey ever since, and we're about to launch our first tokenized project.
Really cool. So you guys, kind of started out in the NFT space and how that relates to real estate, and then now you're transitioning over to more fungible tokens representing equity and whatnot. Tell me a little bit more about the Tuscany, property, how you guys came across it, and ultimately what made the decision to say, yes, this property is prime for tokenization.
Sure. So our partnership has another operational arm, and our partners on that team were involved in this Tuscany project. They were brought in through a relationship they had in Italy, and they were brought in as advisors to the family who had started the development in 2016, 2017. And the family was needing some advice on the development and the completion of the project. They weren't in the development of resort space. And so our partner made a decision in 2020 that we should acquire the property and take it over from the family that was currently building it. They agreed to that. COVID hit. Everything went on hold for 3 years. And as we came out of COVID, we picked up the pieces where we were prior to COVID, and went through the process of securing the property and going through the process of acquiring it. And coincidentally, as we were doing that, this whole tokenization space started to take off, and here we are from last October to now, when we decided to tokenize Cortona. I'm happy to tell you about the project. It's 200 acres. It's a boutique hotel, which is finished. There are 47 rooms. There's 24 villas between 2 and 5 bedrooms, which is on a 12-acre parcel in the middle of this golf resort designed by Gary Player, surrounded by vineyards where there's not golf, in Tuscany, adjacent to Cortona, which is a small village that was made famous by the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. It's a spectacular property, and we're super excited about it. And we actually think this token strategy really fits the property well. We'll have shareholders that own a fraction of this property rather than one institutional partner. And so we'll have thousands of people who will own a piece of this when they come and visit and stay at the property.
Very nice. And actually touching on that, right? So you're opening up the access to individual investors, to partake in this, and probably the upside that comes with the property. But are there any other additional perks that token holders might be able to leverage, whether they're staying at the property or just in general?
The perk they'll receive by being a token holder is a 20% discount on all food and beverage when they're on property on every trip, and all of their guests. So a group can come and one of them can be a token holder, and the entire group will get a 20% discount on rooms and food and beverage. Other than that, that's really the only perk, other than the income that the project kicks off. So this token will be an income producing token with capital appreciation at the end of the project when we sell it in 7 to 10 years.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, hey, the savings are always appreciated. I'm sure it's a great way to bridge the gap between an investor and someone that would, naturally use or stay at this, resorts. So that's great to hear. And I'm sure, things will evolve over time. But focusing a little bit more on the investment opportunity itself, what kinds of investors can participate? Are we talking about U.S. accredited, retail, non-U.S.? Who can participate in this offering? And how
currently, it's U.S. accredited. Minimum investment $5,000, but no maximum. But it's a 506 Reg C accredited investor, U.S.
Yeah, it sounds like a Reg D 506C.
I'm sorry, Reg D.
There we go. Yeah, just making sure we're on the same page here. Sounds good. We're accredited investors, and how can they get access to the documents related to the offering, or be able to make that investment?
So we have been preparing for the last month, and we will go live with our soft launch on Friday. The Tuscany National Token.com is one of the portals, and you can go to the portal there. We will have our documents loaded on that site, so investors can look at documents by clicking a link that'll be attached to that landing page. That'll also take them to the investor portal to go through the KYC AML process. But Tuscany National Token.com. T0 is our broker-dealer partner on this project. So you'll be hearing about that as well. We'll be doing a formal public launch next Tuesday after we iron out the technical kinks over the weekend. So people can find us through T0, TuscanyNational.com. And we also are using Castle placement.
Very cool. Very cool. I appreciate you sharing that. So it sounds like, this opportunity is, coming up, real quick on everyone that wants to participate through T0. But I also saw other, people that you're working with on your website. So maybe we can do a little breakdown on, everyone's role. You mentioned T0 and Castle placement. So we'll just look to learn a little bit more what each of their roles are, as well as Buena Vista Hospitality Group, and Winston and Strawn as well. What's everyone's role in this, and how has your experience been working with each of them?
So Castle Placeman is a broker dealer who is in this space raising capital for real estate projects. They are helping facilitate the raise with us. T0 is the end-to-end platform that we're using, from the onboarding, KYC, AML, tokenization of the real estate, broker dealer, and in the end, providing the trading platform, the secondary trading platform for the tokens when they come out of lockup in 12 months. Winston and Strawn is our legal team who have tokenized other projects. And so we went with them on this project due to their experience. So they're our legal who've done all of the documents. Buena Vista Hospitality Group is our operational partner and our co-partner owner on Tuscany National. They've been in the hospitality and resort business for 45 years, and they were the ones that had the relationship with the family and brought us into the deal. We've been working on projects with them for 15 years. Our last project together, we bought the Snowmass Club in Aspen, Colorado, and owned that. And they operated it and ran it. And Preferred Hotels and Resorts is the largest independent hotel and resort chain in the world. They've got over 650 luxury hotels around the world, 50 golf resorts, and Tuscany National Resort and Club will be in the Preferred Hotels and Resorts flag.
Very, very exciting. And, those are some reputable names that you guys are working with. So, many of which are either members in STP or, have been in the security token market and security token advisors ecosystem. So great to see some familiar logos and faces on that. Courtney, how has your experience evolved over time as, you kind of transition from kind of the NFT real estate world over to this one? And how has that been also useful towards this venture?
Yeah. So very easy breakdown. It's been amazing. I love this space, but it's been an evolution of we know this is a security token under US regulations. We know it's a security token. So it's been interesting to see the dynamic of all of the, I'm going to say, pieces that need to be put together for a launch such as this. At the company that I'm currently at, where we transact on the NFTs of the home, we have very, very tight guardrails that we have to stay within. So it's been amazing for me personally and professionally to launch something such as this, because I get to see a different aspect of a token and gives me experience in that as well.
Very cool. Very cool. No, it's great to see someone in the space, obviously, that kind of has some level of background in the Web3 world, just to, a little bit, help the streamlining of the process and trying to jump that hurdle a little bit.
It's absolutely helped us with, even the network of people. The thing that I love about Web3 is we're all very eager to help within the space because we want people to thrive. And so that has been really fun to kind of put fragmented pieces together and basically build a puzzle and finish it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's an incredible community. There's no doubt about it. It's very enthusiastic. Everyone knows everyone, cheering everyone on. When we said we were doing this with you yesterday, the guys over at T0 like, yeah, we know that. That's great. Say hello. It's just everyone's in the same sort of bucket here. And it's been fun and exciting. And we're really excited about this project and future projects.
Absolutely. Well, it's at the end of the day, this industry has to be collaborative, right? If we want to make sure that the rest of Wall Street and the equivalents around the world are aware of this technology and how it's going to be changing not just real estate but all capital markets, whether from an issuance standpoint or back in middle office, even for the institutions that kind of give that a little bit more importance. So that's all exciting. And with T0, we're working with them directly. So whenever the Tuscany National token starts trading a year from now, we'll be tracking that on stm.co alongside all the other security tokens that are currently on there. So wanted to ask as well, what other future plans do you guys have, whether from a new issuance type of timeline that you guys may have, or future plans for this specific token?
So We will complete this project, and the business plan for Park Street is to acquire multiple lifestyle projects in the lifestyle space. They do not have to have golf, but they need to be lifestyle where people want to travel and spend time. So Costa Rica, Europe, parts of the United States. So we'd like to add 4 or 5 more projects to this portfolio. And Park Street is also creating a fund. We're not going to, I can't, I can, but I'd rather wait until we're a little further along. We've learned with the Tuscany token, we start talking about, and everyone, there's wants information. And so, but we are on to our next project. It's in a completely different space, but it's real estate, and extremely exciting. And stuff will be coming out on that soon. We're far along on that as well, but we plan on building our lifestyle portfolio and also finding other asset classes that we can build a fund around and continue to grow our token portfolio.
I would also add, it's safe to say we're very bullish on the RWA tokenization market over here.
Oh, yeah. No, hopefully that's true. Yeah, absolutely. Things are changing rapidly, especially this year. And I'm glad you guys mentioned, expanding to, properties in other areas of the world as well. How do you guys see from a macroeconomic standpoint, obviously investing into properties in, outside the US, for example, for those that are US investors? Any views on, what people might be able to expect from either like a yield perspective or, returns, accessibility, anything like that?
We always shoot for a 20% plus IRR. That's sort of the benchmark there. With the token strategy, we've learned that income is also equally, if not more important. And so we may look for income producing properties that generate, a 10 plus cash yield on the resort stuff. Our other portfolio is a more stable guaranteed income, and so it's a lower cash yield, but it's like a bond. And so that's domestic. And as far as macroeconomics in other countries, we spend a lot of time, as probably most people on this phone or on this call have in other countries. In Costa Rica's, a place that we've been going to for the last 12 years together, and as a family, and have spent considerable amount of time there. And so, picking up a project in Costa Rica, it's a 4.5-hour flight from LA. So it's easier to get to than New York. And it's stable. It's a stable economy, and, people want to go there. So to own a piece of a property in Costa Rica would probably be pretty cool.
That'd be great. Yeah, look, not that many people can say that, right? Like, hey, I own a piece of this, I own a piece of that as well. And the fractionalization does help with that, for more people to at least have the ability to do that without, completely breaking the bank. So there's that. Courtney, anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, as we kind of go through this one project, we would ultimately, I'd say with the next project, and Scott, you can chime in here if I'm wrong, we would like to open it up to everyone. So it's not just US based, so a different offering, I guess. But this is something where, again, this conversation happened in October, and when it started, it was like, what are we going to tokenize within this development? And here we are on March 27th about to launch, and it's kind of gone 0 to 100 very quickly. But I think for V2 of this, it would be a not just US accredited investors, it would be open to everyone.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah, we the most exciting thing for us is going global, and not for selfish reasons, because we think it's just such an incredible opportunity for someone, in Africa, in Vietnam, pick your country, to be able to buy a token or a block of tokens for a project that they would never be able to touch, probably will never see or visit, but connect the wallet, receive income. And, just the concept of that to me is so incredible. And so, yeah, we are definitely going to open these offerings up outside of the United States, without a doubt. We're already talking that through and trying to figure out how we do that.
Well, that's exciting. Obviously, people in other countries would love to have access to real estate to appreciate some of that wealth, especially if the economic situation is not as favorable in their home countries. But with that, does come also the question of the barrier of understanding Web3, or if you don't need to understand Web3. So, can you touch a little bit on what the investor onboarding experience looks like through what you're building with T0? Is it something where you have to connect a wallet and be well versed in crypto and Web3, or is it a little bit more Web2 friendly with blockchain running in the background?
That's a great question. This project is very Web2 friendly. It's you will go in like a traditional investment, go through, enter your personal details, go through the KYC as accredited investor, and this offering on the launch will accept fiat. We won't accept crypto today. That's coming shortly. But this will be a traditional feeling investment, and investors will have the option to take their ownership in the form of a token.
I think it's also important to note that as we kind of go through this widespread adoption, people that are sitting at the sidelines that are crypto curious or whatever it may be, that don't want to invest in a Bored Ape, a CryptoPunk, or whatever that may be, or a token for that matter, this is a very traditional investment. It's just the underlying technology is Web3. So we may see more people that are, if you want to call it crypto curious or Web 2.5, enter into the space because it is a stable asset. It is a tangible asset, and it's something that is not digital. It's just the underlying technology is Web3. So it's kind of like a bridging the two, Web 2, Web 3, and enabling those people that have always wanted to get into the space to get in without feeling uncomfortable.
And because the market is still in its early stages, we made a decision, and we got some advice on this just from some of the other projects that had come before us. And we made a decision to straddle the fence on this one and allow it to be fiat or crypto or token or traditional. And the other portfolio that we're talking about is going to be tokenized, and we're only selling tokens. So there won't be an option on that one. You'll be buying tokens. And so, but as far as Tuscany, because it was our first project, we wanted to make sure we didn't go all in on this side and realize, well, there wasn't just a big enough market or demand. So we straddled the fence, and it could turn out to be 100% tokenized.
Gotcha. So this helps, give some insight as to kind of the structure of the Tuscany is going through, and of course the future one. You mentioned that you had looked at other projects too, as comps. Essentially, are there any other projects in the tokenization space that kind of stood out to you, that kind of helped guide your decisions based on how they were doing?
The St. Regis in Aspen was tokenized, and we know the property very well. We connected with it immediately. It's a hospitality. We're in hospitality. I mean, they're like, it's a gas station and a gas station, right? And so it was very easy for us to piggyback and just follow in the footsteps of that project. We've seen other projects tokenized, but haven't had any liquidity come into those projects, so we couldn't really follow those. I mean, our goal here is to tokenize and produce tokens and liquidity, and give access to investors around the globe. So just to tokenize a project that has no value to us, that's not what we're in the business of doing. And so the St. Regis in Aspen.
Very cool. We know that property well. I think it's been one of the go-to examples of individual, especially in the hospitality space, to point to. That realty as well is also a great issuer that has done
Yes,
it multiple
absolutely.
times. Yeah, so all great examples, and I'm glad that those are kind of helping shape future issuances for people that are also looking at their own properties that they're involved with and bringing them on chain for all the right reasons. You did mention that you want to obviously bring some level of liquidity to these assets. Is there a world where you would explore a Web3 component? Obviously T0 would be the alternative trading system where people can trade with each other and whatnot. But is there a Web3 component that you guys may be considering?
I would say yes. Again, we have been heads down focused on the launch of this. As we have gone through this process, my intention would be to be full-blown Web3. So we are, again, toying around. I mean, I think you mentioning Remy has done a great job at knowing his community. He's in, I think, France. I'd like to kind of curate that same experience on our end, where we do have a different offering where it's opened up to everyone. We build the tech infrastructure to enable the connection of wallets and the distribution of tokens. Yes, absolutely. I think that would be, call it V2 of Park Street development.
Right. V2 that's happening right now.
Yes, being worked on, a lot of moving parts.
We have a Web3 project we'll be announcing as soon as but it's 100% Web3.
Very nice. And I should have specified too, obviously what you're currently doing is Web3, right? I guess, what we're referring to for the audience is, more DeFi related ecosystems.
Yes.
Lots of great stuff that you could leverage there, especially if you're considering an offering for non-US investors, where in other jurisdictions, it's, a little less risky for you as an issuer. So lots to consider there. And I'm excited to follow this along. Are there any points, by the way, that I've missed so far? And in the meantime, for the audience, if there's people watching with questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and we'll bring them up as they appear. But in the meantime, while we wait for questions, are any other points that I haven't touched on just yet that you guys want to make sure we cover today?
No, we're just excited to bring this to market. You asked what the perks were for token holders, and it's the 20% discount on food and beverage, which, because it's our first project, we didn't spend a lot of, we spent a lot of time thinking about it, but we didn't have a traditional offering to provide certain different perks. But what we plan on doing with our community is increasing the perks. Those people are going to be treated like owners. And so when they show up on property, they're part of our team, our family. And so not only will they get the discounts, but they'll also be, they'll be recognized as part of the, Park Street Tuscany National family, which to me is the most exciting when you're in the business, and any business, and you show up somewhere and you happen to be, part of the big team. It's nice to be part of the family. And so I think that's what, one of the big perks that our investors will have.
That's exciting. I mean, they will be owners, right? So
That's right.
And it's easy to verify. It's all on chain. So, it's a great way for them to interact and be. And by the way, for anyone that's considering a trip over to Tuscany, might as well, stay at your own place, right? So that's right. That's a great narrative drive there. Awesome.
Yeah, Scott and I will be traveling back and forth. And if anyone is a token holder and reaches out to us and they come to the property, we're happy to meet in person, show them around, and kind of show them what they've bought into, essentially.
Without a doubt.
That's amazing. I love the personal touch, guys. I mean, that's a great way to connect with your investors and bring some additional value. How can people, stay in touch with you guys, follow the token offering? You mentioned it's going live on Friday. So how can anyone, get in contact with you if, anything arises?
hello@tuscanynational.com is the email, and that's posted in multiple places. On the PPM is my email address and Mike Frost's email address. So people can email us at any time. And, the contact information is all over our marketing material. So, through the email or phone.
Yeah. Email, phone, LinkedIn, whatever works.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, everyone. Tuscany National Token, or TuscanyNationalToken.com if you want to learn and visit more. To learn more about the property and the investment opportunity itself, not to mention anything that these guys will be putting together in the future, and also accessible through T0. So with that, we will be ending the stream here. But again, feel free to drop some comments, ask questions within Security Token Prime on the platform. Scott and Courtney are on the platform actively, so feel free to reach out. And with that, we'll leave you till the next Security Token Prime webinar. Scott, Courtney, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jason.